So today we have, basically I'm going to scout two players who might be of interest. The first one is George Hill, another point guard. The thing that I like the most about George Hill, he reminded me a lot of Andre Miller. You know, basically a floor guard. He's not going to beat you with his explosiveness, but if you see, he has a pretty nice handle and he can get to his spot on the floor. And he's also a pass-first type of guard. The difference between George Hill and Kyle Lowry is that Hill is not the athlete that Kyle Lowry is. I mean, not that Lowry is some top 10 athlete. You see Hill getting up here in his younger Pacer days, and he'll still flush one every once in a while. But basically, unlike Lowry, you're not really going to see George Hill take over a game on the offensive end on skill. He can shoot the ball and he can space you out and he can pull up, but just not the same level of consistency or proficiency that a more athletically gifted player like Kyle Lowry would provide. Here you see George Hill posting up, and that's what he provides, a solid 6'4". Here again, I just when you have the ability to dribble the basketball, you're able to find teammates like that, like a David West, and that kind of game is going to go well with a Joel Embiid. Just the guy how he's able to let the play work and then able to pass it off to the teammate who scores. Here he puts a defender in jail and then swings it to David West again. Just pure fundamentals. That's what Hill has always been about for the majority of his career. Spot up free ball. And that's the other thing. Just like Kyle Lowry, he has the ability to both spot up and free as well as pull up and beyond the arc. I would say George Hill had been more of a spot-up shooter later in his career. This should have been an and one and would have been an and one in 2021 because Lillard is basically all over his arm as he elevates to shoot this ball. But that's impressive verticality on the shot. And I just like to see again that drop pass to David West is always going to be available for Hill because he's always looking for it. And see right there, that kind of hustle play where he was just open and he didn't get it, but he didn't sulk. He went and he got the rebound for the putback. There's just a lot to like about what George Hill provides as far as the shooter, as far as keeping his head up and being available, and just being a pure professional teammate as he's always been. Ironically, here's the funny thing is that George Hill was basically traded to the Pacers in the Kawhi Leonard trade, and it was something of a win-win for the most part of early in his career until Kawhi became Kawhi. But that shows you the kind of player that George Hill has been. He's been a starting caliber point guard, and he would be an upgrade at that guard spot for us in terms of just his ability to handle the ball and his intelligence and his ability to play with other teammates. As he's able to shoot this speed ball right here. To tie it up and send it into OT in this game. But just that confidence that George Hill has, you can't teach that confidence. I have the confidence to take a shot in a fourth quarter and just off-balance free. Not a lot of guys have the moxie to come to the ball and take that shot, but George Hill does, and I just find that incredibly impressive. Here in the OT, just look at that kind of drop pass. The court vision to see that play develop, and then the confidence, again, to throw that kind of dart. Ooh, look at the little in-out dribble to get the layup. So just that combination of a good ball handler, good passer, good decision maker. And you can see him participating on the defensive end, leading to the miss. And this next one is going to be a clip against, now he's in the Bucks jersey, and he was against the Boston Celtics. And you can see right here again, just the same dribble. That should have been offensive foul. Not gonna lie, he's above the restricted circle. I don't know what the ref's not looking at, but that should have been a charge. But that ability to drive exists as a guard. And he had another drive, kick to the shooter, and then right place at right time for the rebound putback. Here he is in transition to kick ahead to Giannis, and then he's able to swing it to Connaughton for free. I can't say that dude's last name, but George Hill is just a teammate that he's always unselfish. And that's what you look for in a point guard. He could have easily took the three, but then he decided to swing it to the swingman for the open shot. Good to great. And that's what intelligent players do. Here he is cutting off the ball, and Middleton gives him the pass. Real solid job. Here he is on the pick and roll. Loses the dribble a little bit, but then he's able to pick it up with the jump shot. Presence of mind to be able to do something with the ball after losing the dribble. He gets the screen right here, and he's able to blow by for the layup. And that's really going to work with the two-man game with Toby, Embiid, and Simmons. Just nice acceleration. And he still has that acceleration at 34. Like, I said that he wasn't an athlete, but his handle combined with his shooting ability, I really feel like in George Hill's career, two things kind of derailed him. Circumstances, in terms of not advancing far enough, and then injuries. Because this guy, he's not as far off of Lowry as I made it out to be. Like, I prefer Lowry more from an athletic defensive standpoint, but Hill is no slouch for a consolation prize. As he was able to hit that open three. And that on and off ability is important. As you can see how he played with Giannis, he played with LeBron. Basically the pure type of guard you need. Seth Curry technically can play on and off, but Seth Curry is not making that play. Now remember, this was 2 years ago, so trust me, Hill can still get up there like that in terms of immediate bounce to the rim. Like it, like the aggression, like the ability to put the ball on the floor. I just prefer these type of guards more. It's 6'4", able to guard ones and twos. He's just always been a criminally underrated player. Able to pump fake, get the scoop layup in. Not bad. Here he is for the rebound and layup. And here Milwaukee's doing a little press trap. And he's able to find a guy who gets the layup. So just that ability to pass the ball, have his head up on his shoulders. To me, it's really impressive that he has this maturity in his game. And he's always had that maturity in his game, really, throughout his career. So the next one is another Pacer game. And he was playing the same Boston Celtics. But just look at that intelligence. He knew that this guy was going for the steal. And he knew he could pass it to Paul George for that layup. And then you saw he really had a strong two-man game with David West during those years. And I just like what an aggressive driver he is. That's what we're missing. We're missing a guy who could drive the basketball and force it into the teeth of the defense. And then that pull-up jump shooting ability. We only have one player, maybe two, that we can say the pull-up jump shooter. Tobias Harris has been a great pull-up jump shooter ever since he's been a Sixer. And Shake Milton, that's not going to get it done. I feel like you need at least 4 guys who can pull up off the dribble. And Paul George is very good at pulling off the dribble. And because he's good at pulling off the dribble, he can make swing passes like that to the corners. Just that offensive versatility. He's never been able to truly, like, he's had games like this, he scored like 30 in this game. He'll have games like this, but then he'll also have games where he's a solid 15, 18, 13. I don't know what it is with these guys who sometimes they look like they should be a big thing, but then they rounded out their careers to just be solid professionals. I'll never understand it sometimes. Like, whoa, look at that skip me ooh. Nice play. There's a little double screen, and then it turns into a layup. I really feel like George Hill would be a great player for this team because rerun screens like Indiana did. Here he is with an open three, pull up, knock it down. And he's always been a low turnover player. He draws the foul there on the shot. And he's always been a solid free throw shooter and get to the line and just as much as Lowry, but not an elite free throw getting guy. Neither of them are, but with Joel and being Ben Simmons, maybe you don't need another free throw drawer as much as you just need a guy who could keep a live ball guard and just move your offense that way. Here he is with a little floater. Just again, that ability to create and make tough shots. I feel like that's lacking both in the starting lineup and in the bench. In the ideal perfect world, you could give it to both. You could get the bench another scorer, and you could get the lineup another scorer. In the ideal perfect world. Basically, the Sixers have a big three, and they have a bunch of mishappen parts. Let's just call them that. And NBA title contenders are 8 deep. I would like us to get to 6 deep minimum. Like, I just have no faith in our bench whatsoever. Ooh, beautiful crossover to split the D, draw the foul. And you know it's a 2008 game with that score, 88-81 towards the end of the fourth quarter. As he hits the tight contested pull-up three. Here he is, getting himself in position for a layup. So that's it for George Hill. The next player that we're going to scout is Will Barton, the Denver Nuggets swingman, who the Sixers were linked to. Now, I will say this. My consistent message throughout this entire season has been Danny Green is the worst starting small forward in the NBA by a very wide margin. If you could move from 30th to 24th, that would be a big thing. But in Will Barton's case, I feel like he would be such a fit. You could just see quick pull-up trigger again, like with George Hill. I would love to get both of these guys. That's why they're in the video together. If you could get George Hill and Will Barton, if you could get two guys who can pull up off the dribble, then we have significantly upgraded our biggest weakness offensively. But it wouldn't be 30th to 24th. Will Burton starting for us would be like going from 30th to 13th. I see Will Burton really having a breakout year in this offense. He'd play well with Nikola Jokic. But really, it's more than a Nikola Jokic and Joel Embiid's improved as a passer. Because you can play with Joe and you can play with Ben. And you can even play with Steph Curry in the backcourt. So really, I just see Will Burton taking the starting spot here in Philadelphia and truly flourishing with it on the offensive end. And defensively, I very, very highly doubt you could be worse than Danny Green. Let's put it that way. I really, really highly doubt that you could be worse than him. So, I look at Will Barton as a player who I would love to get. He's a player that, you know, the conflicting reports about Kyle Lowry, truly conflicting reports to the point where I'm not on that train. I'm going to see if I doubt, but maybe it happens, who knows. But my number one focus right now is on Barton because Barton has always, he's shown passing potential, but in times Barton, you know, he's a guy who could create his own shot off the dribble. Here he is putting a guy in jail, able to shoot and make the shot. So because of Barton's elite scoring ability, he's always been more of a scorer than a facilitator. But I feel like Doc Rivers can unlock that part in his game and really make Will Barton a better player. When people say old dogs can't learn new tricks, he's in the right age of 30 years old. But really what I like is his unlimited range from out to see another dagger pull up three to secure the win for Denver in this situation. Where even Stephen Curry's like, whoa, look at this guy. So here he is this year, this against the Nets. and he makes the transition free ball in the corner. And here he is with a little hezzy pull-up jump shot. See, we don't have anyone really on the team that can score the way Barton scores. Here he is with another pull-up jump shot. Some might say, is there a big difference between pull-up jump shooting and spot shooting? There is. And here's the main difference. Danny Green can't shoot with a hand in his face. Seth Curry cannot shoot with a hand in his face. Burkan Korkmaz cannot shoot with a hand in his face. But Will Barton, as you're seeing time and time again, Will Barton can shoot with a hand in his face, and he can shoot off the dribble. And because of that, we all talk about, why aren't we getting the 3-point shooting up? Well, the big reason is that these stiffs who just stand there and shoot don't have that ability off the bounce. They see a guy running to them on the 3-point line and they're like, I'm not open anymore. Will Barton, he looks at that same guy and he's like, you're not catching up to me, I'm bombing the shot. So I think that's a big difference to be able to have a guy who can hit contested shots in this league, as opposed to the litany of, there's an NBA defender, it's actually basketball, holy shit! Yeah, I'm done with these spot-up shooters. I'm done. Give me a guy who could shoot against NBA level defenses, and that's the upgrade that you need. Another pull-up jump shot. Exactly what we need moving forward. And this is a game against Chicago way back when, like 2 years ago, and just more. See this? Another pull-up jump shot. I mean, technically, the catch and shoot because no one's in front of him, but. And just look at that handle. Change of direction. Scoop layup. Should have been an and one. I believe it was. But just look at that change of direction. He's 6'6" too. Like, it's kind of. I feel like for Will Barton, in a similar situation to George Hill, them Nuggets ended up being stacked. And because of that, he another spot up. That's also technically a pull-up because the guy is in the face. And that's what I mean. A guy is in front of him, he doesn't care, he's running this fly. And they'll drop off past the Jokic, able to catch it, pull up, make the shot. Here he is with the steal. And that big man didn't know where he was going. Nice. And just look at how he plays off Jokic. I feel like Embiid can develop that and get that kind of chemistry. We saw Embiid do a little bit of this with Robert Covington, and I would like to see him do that with Ben Simmons too. I would just like to see these quick hitting cut actions. And I feel like you will be able to do it with Barton because Barton is a threat to shoot. So they're not going to overplay that cut too much. Splash. Like, how many players do we have on this team who could splash? Splash! How about we call him the Sniper instead of Splash? Because Splash is like taking away from the Warriors. Yeah, we'll call this guy the Sniper if he's the Sixer. Snipe! I mean, he would improve our team so much offensively. And that ability to be a secondary ball handler next to Ben Simmons, you would also still have that. And that was actually the game-winning layup. He scored 36 points in this game. And it was a nice comeback win by the Nuggets. But yeah, I feel like Barton is just a guy who always needed a perfect situation. And I feel like the Sixers were to be that perfect situation. There are players to be had in this trade deadline who I really feel like, and I kept this here because the light should shine on this bro. Future Sixer, hopefully. You have him start, and we can finally put the Danny Green nightmare to rest. So this is Sixers universe, and we're first in the Eastern Conference, but it's a precarious first because the Nets, they had the same soft schedule that we had, and that's what propelled them to get the 8-game win streak. They got a couple of opponents in a row, and that's good for them, not taking anything away from them. But as a result now, we got to boost ourselves because 5 of our next 6 are against teams substantially above 500. So if we could get this deadline right, we can win these couple games, keep our hold on the number 1 seed. And really, holding the number 1 seed is not just obviously for the playoff implications. It's for the personal pride. Embiid and Simmons deserve to be there. So this is Sixers Universe hoping that we're able to pull this off. If we pull this off, man, sky's the limit. First, number 1 seed. Next thing is championship by the end of June. That's what I believe. Go Sixers.